Most people describe the feeling as a fog. You sit down to work, but your hand moves toward your phone before you've even opened a tab. You finish a task, but instead of feeling accomplished, you feel drained. By the time the sun sets, you've spent 10 hours doing things, yet you can't point to a single moment of deep, meaningful thought. We treat this as a personal failure of willpower. We assume we are just lazy, or that we've lost the spark we had 5 years ago. But willpower isn't the problem. The problem is that your focus has been colonized. Every app, every notification, and every urgent email is a withdrawal from a finite bank of cognitive energy. You aren't lazy, you are overstimulated and under-recovered. To reclaim your mind, you don't need a year-long retreat or a new planner. You need a 24-hour tactical reset, a hard break that forces your brain to recalibrate its baseline for stimulation. To understand why this works, we have to look at the mechanics of the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that becomes active when you aren't focused on a specific task. In a healthy state, this network is where creativity and self-reflection happen. But in a state of constant digital bombardment, this network becomes hyper-reactive. It's always looking for the next hit of dopamine. Therefore, the goal of the next 24 hours isn't just to rest. It's to starve that reactivity until your brain is forced to look inward for engagement. Phase 1 begins at 8 p.m. on a Friday or Saturday. This is the pre-reset. Most people try to start a habit in the morning, but the morning is governed by the momentum of the night before. If you spend your final hours of the day scrolling through short-form videos, your brain will spend the first 4 hours of sleep processing that fragmented data. You wake up already cognitively behind. Therefore, the reset starts with a digital blackout. At 8 p.m., every screen in your environment goes dark. Not on silent, not in the other room, completely powered down. The immediate reaction is a spike in anxiety. This is the challenge. Your brain realizes the easy source of dopamine has been cut off. You will feel an itch to check just one thing. This itch is the physical manifestation of your attention being tied to an external source. But by sitting through that discomfort, you are practicing the first tenet of Stoicism, distinguishing between what you can control, your reaction to the itch, and what you cannot, the existence of the itch itself. By 10 p.m., the silence of the house will feel heavy. This is intentional. In the absence of external noise, your internal monologue becomes louder. This is often why we avoid silence. We don't like what we hear when the music stops. But this is where the recalibration happens. You are moving from a state of input to a state of processing. When you wake up on Saturday morning, do not reach for a device. The first 60 minutes of your day dictate the attentional set for the remaining 15 hours. If you check your email, you are telling your brain that your priority is reacting to others. If you check the news, you are telling your brain that your priority is global anxiety. Instead, move your body. A 30-minute walk in silence. No podcasts. No music serves as a sensory reset. You are training your eyes to focus on depth and distance rather than a flat plane 6 inches from your face. The middle of the day, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., is the boredom threshold. This is the hardest part of the 24-hour reset. We have been conditioned to believe that boredom is an enemy to be defeated. In reality, boredom is the soil in which deep focus grows. When you allow yourself to be bored, your brain eventually gives up looking for an external fix and begins to generate its own stimulation. You will find yourself noticing the texture of the wood on your desk or the way the light hits the wall. These are small things, but they indicate that your sensory gates are opening again. During these hours, you should engage in one and only one analog task. It could be reading a difficult book, writing by hand, or manual labor. The key is that the task must have no feedback loop. There are no likes, no notifications, and no progress bars. The reward is the work itself. Most people quit here because the lack of instant feedback feels like a waste of time. But it is during this friction that your focus muscles are actually being rebuilt. By 4:00 p.m., you will notice a shift. The itch to check your phone has likely subsided into a dull hum. You feel a strange kind of clarity, a quietness in the front of your brain. This is your prefrontal cortex regaining its seat of power over your limbic system. You are no longer a slave to the ping. The final phase, from 6:00 p.m. to 8:00 p.m., is the integration. The 24-hour reset isn't a permanent escape. It's a recalibration so you can return to the world without being consumed by it. Spend these hours reflecting on which habits felt the hardest to break. Those are your leaks. If the hardest thing was not checking your work email, your boundary between your worth and your output is blurred. If it was social media, your sense of self is too closely tied to the perception of others. As the 24 hours come to a close, you shouldn't feel productive in the traditional sense. You haven't cleared your inbox or finished a project, but you have reclaimed the most valuable asset you own, the ability to choose where your mind goes. The world is built to keep you distracted because a distracted person is easy to sell to, easy to influence, and easy to keep in a state of mild dissatisfaction. A person who can sit in a room alone for 24 hours and come out with a clear mind is in a very real sense a threat to that system. The reset is over. The question is, now that you have your focus back, what are you actually going to do with it?